Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Beatball Blues Show. Neil Dog Bam Bam here with part 2 of our elections preview. Seth Dog, are you ready for another round?
Hello, greetings.
Evening.
How are you doing? Evening.
I'm well. Yourself?
You know, Neil Dog, just chilling, man. Just chilling. Man.
Since I know
in a week, man, it's impressive.
I know. Since I know how much you crave like 70-degree weather, maybe even a little like 60-ish with rain flashes. How are you holding up in our 103 temperatures today?
Oh, if I had one of the kids over here, I'd have them tell you what the degrees are on my thermostat, and I can guarantee you it is not 103 degrees in here, man.
Nobody
guarantee you.
Nobody keeps their air conditioner lower than Seth Dog. Hey, it's like winter when you go into it.
No, I probably can beat him.
I say, especially living where we live, air conditioning is a necessary expense. It's just something that has to be spent. You know, you have to spend your money for it. So it's
last I checked, yours though, not that we should go on and on, is part of your rent. Is that still the case?
No.
Oh, okay. At one point, your electricity was part of your rent, and I was like, man, Seth has no idea how much money he's getting away with these landlords. All right, fair enough. Yeah. All right, let's jump in. We got a second part to our elections previews going on tonight. We divided it into board of directors, people who are running for board of director spots. And this second part is going to be focusing on the second vice president position, which is the position that is most in charge of public relations of the National Beat Baseball Association. This winner of this position is going to be the chair of the public relations committee. So it's a big deal. So you've already heard one of our candidates voices. So we'll bring her in first. Plus, we like to introduce women before men because Seth and I are old school type gentlemen. Liaa Michaels of the Indie Edge. Welcome back to the show, Liaa. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. How about you guys?
Excellent. Doing well.
And I got to say, I was raised by a feminist, so I don't hearken back to that patriarchal stuff that Neil's talking about.
That's fair. If I hear from anybody, it's going to be your mother. I understand. I'm ready for it. It's so much easier to take her disapprovals through text messaging.
Yeah, right. Doesn't have the same tone.
All right, and we also are bringing in a longtime friend of the show who's also running for the second vice president spot. In case you haven't seen it anywhere yet, Mr. Richie Flores back on the show. What's up, Richie?
Hey, Neil, thanks for having me back. And just for your video audience, you know, I'm wearing my orange Atlanta Chaos jersey with the mad beat ball with a bat in his mouth and my blue baseball cap to go along with it, man. I'm glad to be here with you and Liaa and Bam Bam to talk about the second vice presidency. And yeah, glad to be here, buddy.
What gets my attention about that is that you've never been on video on this show before. This is like your 10th time on the show. Video.
Hey. You gotta know your audience, right? Everybody's looking at Neil's pretty teeth out there. You know, I gotta bring mine too.
And I remember back in the day,
the Beatball Blues Show. It's a Beatball Blues Show. You know, you got a show.
I remember back in the days when you used to come on our show to recap tournaments and stuff like that until you started running for office, and then it was all the big noise, man. It's like, man, Richie done left us, man.
I must have missed the memo, guys. You guys haven't invited me back for it. I didn't get a memo to come on your show. It's like, oh man, I gotta get DP to do a little recap for me.
I put that on Seth, so yeah, I have nothing to say. By the way, By the way, in my hand, I'm holding my Beat Ball Blues tumbler from Rosina Foster, the play-by-play voice from the game of the day at the NBBA. Shout out to Rosina Foster. Hey, real quick, Liaa, since you came in when we were talking about Seth's thermostat, what do you keep yours at? See which one of you goes lower.
Usually when it's hot, like you guys are talking, I would say usually 66.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's even in the wintertime, our thermostat is not over 68.
All right,
see, now I could dig that. I'm warm-blooded, so during the winter I don't use a lot of heat, and I love, like, at night opening up all my windows, and when there's a cool breeze, like I don't need it to be real warm for me, but I don't like the real cold.
Yeah, it's 67 in here right now, and it's 82 outside.
All right, so let's dive into this. I think we've dragged our audience down. They came here believing they're going to learn about public relations, and I don't know that we've proven it to them yet.
Oh, dude, example by example, Neil. By example.
So let's go ahead and jump in. We have already predetermined the order. We're not going to switch back and forth like we did with the previous episode, part 1. So our order with our 6 topics will be Richie and then Liaa. So let's start with you, Mr. Flores. Why now have you decided to run for the 2nd Vice President of the National Beat Baseball Association?
Well, I guess first and foremost, 2nd Vice President assumes, and you mentioned it, the PR Director's Chair, and that's Public Relations Chair. And I'm a relator, man. I actually, in the Clifton Strengths talent assessment at work, that was my top strength, was being a relator. Okay, I have cross-league support too, Neil. You've seen me play. I've had 8 different jerseys since I've been playing 16 years. Playing either in regionals. This is gonna be my 4th team I played with at a World Series. So I have friends across the league and leaders on teams that have said, hey, you should formally, get on the executive board and try to bring that strength of relating to their mix, right? I also live with blindness. Bam Bam and Liaa, you all know that, and so I've always kind of worked in that space of community awareness, advocacy, career path, mentoring in blindness. So I have a kind of a skill and a passion for that as well. And you could do that a lot in the NBBA. I love this game, as someone who's dedicated, 16 summers straight to this, to preparing myself to play. I've played in 5 championship Saturdays. I've actually reached the top of the mountain in 2014 with the Austin Blackhawks. So the league deserves a public relations chair who has been there, done that, wants more, looks the part, represents success in the diversity of our game. And, I'm that someone, and, I'm kind of proud to have a proven record of already kind of doing a lot of what a PR director can do and should do without even a title. And so I believe that's me. I hope that others, across the league also learn that from me. And I know that I have, at least, half of the teams coming to the World Series, as far as team, players that I've mixed and have friends with, have all kind of empowered me to make this decision. So that's why I'm doing it.
All right. Thank you. Liaa? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You can ask. Go ahead.
All right, Liaa, same question to you. Why now have you decided to run for 2nd Vice President?
Well, I think it all started for me when I was reading some of the posts on The Nation, probably about 5 months ago, where there was a lot of talk back and forth about wanting to hire somebody who does PR, someone who does marketing, public relations, and kind of getting basically the word out. And I've always said that, if you have the internal people, why don't you use them? And this is what I've been doing since literally I stepped foot into my senior year of college. I've been in marketing and PR for many, many years. And I'm willing to kind of take my skills to the next level and take it from the corporate world into more into the beat baseball world, where I can try to help extend the World Series opportunities, etc., farther out than just what we're doing now, as well as spreading the word about the Beat Baseball Association. And more than anything, it's, you know, I'm not going to be in this game forever. However, my son is going to be around for a while. And so it's really important to me to try to help put a good foundation in place so that the next generation can take over and kind of have a strong direction.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know, kind of the in the end, the first and second questions kind of blend in together, because you got, in the way that you guys have answered them, kind of gave kind of your background. But you know, what is it that specifically that you've done? You know, what if, you know, if we're looking at your resume, what sort of things can you specifically point to that will directly play upon you know, the NBBA and the growth of the NBBA, or the direction that the NBA is going to go? And just if you know, if you guys could also tie in and back into the first question of like, why now, right? Why now in 2022 have you guys decided to bring that your experience to the NBBA in this position now? But what's your background that makes you a perfect fit for this?
I kind of mentioned at the end of my answer to the last question is I've been doing this, you know, just without the title. So I have lived experience and work experience that have prepared me for this. Like 40 years of just living with blindness. You know, I read Braille, I use a cane, I have a seeing eye dog. You know, I use adaptive technology to compete and be literate. And so I have a lot of those blindness skills down, right? So that has prepared me to kind of adequately be a representative of half the people in our league, which are our blind players, right? So 20 years of working also in the professional development, community awareness space for people with disabilities. You know, that's also another place where I've emphasized my skills of mentoring others, and, you know, again, advocating for those who don't have the normal path to either sports or career or whatever it is. My beatball career, man, 17 years. This is gonna be my 17th year, you know, playing this game. I've had the ability to co-found a team called, you know, the San Antonio Jets, who have challenged for the World Series. I have over 150 putouts in my career. I was actually on the board of the NBBA from 2015 to 2017, and in charge of the projects committee, where we were able to, you know, co-found the Women of Our League project with my really good friend Faith. You know, I've also been able to, you know, find talent. You know, you mentioned Rosina Foster and Matt Wallace, who are going to do our stream of the day, you know, as a PR committee member back in 2019, selected by Jared Woodard at that time, who held this position. You know, I was able to run that project, coordinate that project, find that talent. You know, again, leadership within the blind community. You know, not only have I helped in beatball, but, you know, I just recently was elected to the National Federation of the Blind Sports and Rec Division. That's something that I've been involved with for a long time. Back in 2006, when I started beatball, I was recruited to be on the Sports Vision 2020 board with my friends Wayne Simpson and Rusty Reams, and primarily to be a recruiter. You know, they wanted me to recruit young blind people to come play the game for the Blackhawks. And I found Axel Cox, and I found Zach Arambula, and I found Brandon Cheshire, and I found Darius Sterling, and I found Faith Penn, all people who I feel like with kind of working with them and playing with them, growing with them, they all are doing really cool stuff within this sport. And so I have an ability to relate and find talent to help improve our teams, improve our stuff. I've also, you know, let's see, where am I here? I'm a published ambassador. I'm a published ambassador, Bam Bam. You know, I've been represented on NPR, dude. I'm representing Beat Baseball on the Story, dude, and talking about lived experience of blindness and the intersection with that and sport. You know, I'm cited over 10 times in the book, Beat, the Unseen World of Beat Baseball, dude. So I've been doing this stuff. The Big Noise is a voice of beatball. You know, I've color commentated the 2015 World Series in one of the best games of our history between the Austin Blackhawks and the Taiwan Home Run. You know, I've been a producer of multiple video and audio projects, including hosting, you know, a Beat Podcast Network, you know, and I've also, last but not least, been featured as the month of May 2019 Beat Ball Calendar Bam Bam by John Lukowski, dude. I've done all that, dude. You want that? That's what's prepared me to be a PR director. That's what excites me about the second vice presidency. It's the most exciting position for me on the board right now.
All right.
Liaa?
I would say that for me, I've had quite a bit of experience in the PR and marketing world, like I said. Some of my highlights are my very first job that I did take was being a PR director and promotions assistant for a group of in town. It was in the Indianapolis area, in town marketing associates who did Paramount Pictures releases. And so I worked for Paramount for about 4 years, and eventually I took over the whole entire Indianapolis area to promote movies. And some of the movies I did here in the Indianapolis area were The Hunt for Red October, Crazy People, Days of Thunder. So I do have quite a bit of marketing and PR experience, and I set up a lot of those meet and greets and a lot of the things that are at a higher level for the external part of marketing and PR. And I think most recently, I was involved in putting together with my company some of the advertisements that went out through the Olympics. And we were doing some, they weren't necessarily promoting our products or anything, but they were promoting the brand of Lilly. And I was involved in those from kind of the inception. And there's just a lot of things I think that I can bring to the table looking externally and helping to grow the league. And I'll just give you an example of something that I've done working into the series this year, which is I reached out and I got a promotion going on with a restaurant down in Beaumont, and they're going to provide us with a seafood dinner and for the whole team, all 45 of us. And I put together a marketing plan with them to be able to sponsor their restaurant, and they're going to sponsor our team. So it's things like that where I think that I could be of service to the whole league and not necessarily just keep that kind of in my little honed in area here in Indianapolis.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So public relations these days has so much to do with social media. I mean, if you're a professional sports team, a big corporation, a clothing line, it doesn't matter. If you want to get the word out there now, social media is used in so many different platforms to do so. As a whole, the social media makeup of the National Beat Baseball Association has been disappointing. There have been spurts when there's more being put out than usual, but overall, as a whole, the NBBA has never had a strong social media platform. Do you each agree with this? And if so, what do you have in mind if you are elected second VP to improve the social media platform of the NBBA? Richie?
I guess number one, establish a social media platform. You know, that's yes. Like we need one. I think that's what you're saying. We really haven't had one, and I think the right place to start is to definitely have a PR team that has talent and excels in all these areas. You know, I think we've kind of been with an old mindset of, oh, we got to have the website done, and that's it. That's where it stopped. And like, oh no, but now we have to just have a Facebook, right? But it's like, what do we do with the website? What do we do with the Facebook? Do we have an Instagram? I know we have a Twitter, but it's not active. You know, the most popular things on YouTube are just at the World Series, and that was just last year. We don't have a TikTok yet, which can be monetized if we actually do it right. You know, I don't believe we have a listserv. I think we have an email that Steve gets to send to everybody, and that's it, right? routine social media practice will be, and is the best way for us to spread our word around. And we can't really do that without, a brand. I don't think we even have a brand right now, establishing a brand of what beatball is. There's no catchy hashtags associated with beatball right now. I'm highlighting visuals and voices that really tell the true stories of, our game and its characters is necessary, right? And we can't do that without, a good team and creative content, right? Creative content that spotlights the diversity of our players and documents the value of our volunteers. And, that's just another passion of mine. And I feel like the folks on Beatball Nation have witnessed, my strengths in some of these areas, in writing articles about beatball, in interviewing people about beatball, in sourcing talent to, highlight these faces and voices of people who could really publicly relate beatball uniquely and effectively. And it's just our hope to just kind of widen that scope of these productions with a cool team behind me, and also other folks who create cool content, like maybe Neil McDonald and Bam Bam. But finally, I might need your help, Neil and Bam Bam, to help me coach up new and upcoming public relators and things like that. We have the young generation that are really good at this social media and stuff, man, but they need to be excited about beatball the way we are and figure out how they can bring their skin to the game, right? How can we also, bring some of our volunteers who have really good access and service around this stuff and experience around, social media, because it is a very visual form. And so it's pretty good that, that we kind of develop a really good team that can help, show our diverse and success and document the beatball story the way we know it should be.
All right. Thank you, Richie. Liaa, do you need me to recapture the question? Are you good?
Yeah, I think I'm good, because I do agree with Richie on many of the topics that he did touch on. I think that social media in today's day and age should be pretty much our top priority. I think that getting together with the league to try to see what the vision of the future looks like is the first step. And I think then you take your social media platform and build it around that, because social media is going to be here for as long as we're in the league, at least. And I think that is the most important right now. I think print media, some of the things that are not so readily used anymore, to me would take kind of like a second fiddle to social media. And I do believe that making sure that we have demos and pieces and things that anyone at any point in time can grab from a website or grab from a archive and say, hey, I want to show this to you. This is what beatball is all about. I think we have to put together something that is going to be kind of housed in our area for beatball, and allow that to be used by anyone who wants to use it once it's been, kind of through the right channels. And that's the way you kind of spread things with social media, because we have so many people that know how to use social media, but it's getting the information out there in a way that it's going to get people interested, to get people involved in what's going on, and to make them want to watch beatball, want to give money to beatball, and to want to be a participant in beatball, whether it's playing or whether it's volunteering or just financially. So I think that that to me would be top priority right now.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. I mean, again, kind of on the same lines, or the same line of reasoning there. Like, you guys have kind of laid out like an overarching vision for, social media, but, there are other components of public relationship. What is, I mean, you guys must have been thinking about this job for a while. It's like, what is one thing that, or the first thing that in the first 100 days, though I don't think that works here, but in the first 100 days, like, what is the one thing that you are going to sit down and immediately like bring into action to either increase the awareness of the sport, or to increase the profile of the players, or to bring more money in, or whatever it is, whatever your vision is? What is that one thing that you're going to sit down and hit your computer on, or hit your computer working on, on Monday after the tournament's over?
Well, I mean, I'll probably be doing it because I've been doing it pretty much every time I get together with my beat ball family, and that's grassroots level work. And that's, figuring out who on each team is your public relator, who's the strongest relator of your team, because we need to develop this great PR team that includes every team. And that'll include, maybe developing some standards around, streaming and making sure that the league also knows all your social media sites. If you're streamed here, that the league knows where to promote that. If you have a website, if you have a Facebook, we need to know every relator that's on each team. And then we could start developing, the cool interviews and promotional videos with each of these teams to highlight, the cross league support and the love for beat ball, that tells the story again, like no one else does, like people who love the game, right? So that's probably what I'll do first, is I need to figure out who are the relators of each team to help me build this great PR team to take us to the next level on social media, to take us to the next level with PR. And then, I think as we get a little bit finding out everybody's resources within these teams, that's when we can start connecting with partnering organizations that make sense, right? Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, college, local softball teams even, a lot of folks are making money right now and getting tournaments and things supported by the Lions. So making sure that we're bridging the gaps and helping different teams who aren't doing that yet to figure out how they can bring more fans to the game, because the Lions and the Pioneers, they come to the games, they watch us at regional tournaments, they talk to their friends about it, they bring their families, different civics groups, bridging the gap also with perhaps the United States Association of Blind Athletes, and other adaptive sports movements. I feel like I can utilize, I was able to put on a game, a beat ball game at the National Federation of Blind Convention in Vegas without a title. And now I'm the sports and rec, president for that organization. So next year it's in Houston. We got 2 teams in Houston, Neil, that could come and just beat the crap out of some NFB people who think they could play beat ball, and they'll learn about it. So lots of cool stuff that I have planned that I know I could put together, but it all starts with grassroots and figuring out the resources that we have on that level to move beyond to partnerships with organizations that make sense.
Excellent. Liaa?
Okay, for me, one of the things I kind of committed to do was that if I am elected, I would like to first find out who would like to be part of the PR committee. And then I'd like to sit down with the teams and figure out what they want to see. Because I think that sometimes we don't dig into our teams and our membership, and sometimes the decisions of what we do are made at a higher level. And sometimes I think there's some good information that you can get from, like Richie said, the grassroots. And I'd like to put together some sort of plan where we can have representatives from each group, each team, that will help us in their area, that would say, okay, we have X amount of things we want to do this year, and who can help me with this, who can help me with that. And those things would be things such as going out and making sure that you can make yourself known in your area with the media. Seeing if you can, I give you a letter, send that letter out to all 5 of your local news stations, things that will actually get us the PR that we really need on the external level. Because I think internally, I think we're doing a great job to each other. My feel is that we need to branch outside of our network and get to the people who either A, don't know about us, or B, are there. We just haven't tapped into them yet, and they're there. And especially, like, for example, Norman, Oklahoma. If I was to be elected, first thing I would do is say, guys, I want to start meeting with this person that's going to be doing the setup in Norman ASAP, because between the 2 of us and my group and my people on the team, we can all work together and we can make this bigger and better than it's ever been, and get more exposure for the areas around the next site for the World Series too. And I think that that's one of the things that might be beneficial for the league as we grow. And I think that, our younger generation is very much, like you said, into social media. And there are so many outlets with social media and ways to do Google advertising and things that cost very minimal amounts of money that we could be doing and be hitting hundreds of thousands of people in a year. And we just don't do them. And they're at very limited amounts of money. It's just that we haven't gone down that road yet. And those are things that I really would like to see happen. Like I said, I'm more for, not necessarily for anything that's going to change overnight, but something that's going to put a strong foundation, a contingency plan in for the future.
Very nice. Thank you both. All right. The National Beat Baseball Association has been around for over 45 years now, and the Beat Baseball World Series has been going on for that entire time. Every year there are, all tournament offensive players picked, all tournament defensive players picked. But our sport, unlike every other sport from pros down to peewees, has never had the opportunity of having a true all-star game. Now this year it looks more and more like in November in San Antonio, Texas, there is going to be a true Beat Baseball all-star game, but it's being organized by individuals there in San Antonio. Some of the players from the Jets, Axel Cox, Zach Arambula, and David Smith started the committee of bringing this event to San Antonio. But it's not something that's part of the National Beat Baseball Association. So now tying this to public relations, promoting isn't just about promoting the league. It's about promoting the players, especially our star players. I mean, every sport out there uses their star players to promote their product. So this event, again, the All-Star Weekend coming up in November in San Antonio, is this something that each of you believe the National Beat Baseball Association should support or be a part of, or even extend it into something that the NBBA, maybe not extend, I'm sorry, let me restart. Is this something that you feel the NBBA should be doing on its own, if not being part of what is going on with the committee in San Antonio? Richie?
Man, I like playing beat ball year round, man. I plan to actually do my best at this World Series so that I make sure that I'm playing beat ball in November in this game. Okay, so I'm excited about it. This will be a place to take advantage of video, of audio footage of some of the best folks in our game, right? I think it's a good, great project that's in, it's still in the introductory mix. No, there's no plane tickets have been bought or anything like that. So it's going to take a lot of work, but I do feel that it's possible, and you can't really start anything without. You can't dream it up without doing it, right? You have to do it. So I'm really proud of this idea. I fully support it. I definitely think NBBA should have some sort of skin in the mix. I don't know what that would be like, and that's what we'd have to probably discuss as a board. And Axel's on the board, so he would be a good voice for that too. So we're going to try to figure this out. But beat ball destination tournaments, man. In the off season, come on, Neil. They could come to your backyard and play beat ball in September and October in California. I know Darren Keepers is thinking about this. We've been in Vegas in October and played beat baseball. I know Tyler, Texas has been doing something all the time. I'm a little disappointed. 9/11, we're not going to have a haters or heroes, because that was my first fall ball, I think. As a person. But I think Colorado can see some good stuff. But yeah, my dream, Neil, is to figure out how to have an event at the Field of Dreams. That's one of my dreams, is to play beat ball in the Field of Dreams, just to have that same picture. Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't really like the movie, but it's more the scene. You know what I mean? Like, there are many better beat ball movies, like League of Our Own, probably my favorite movie, right? But of baseball. But no, I really do feel like just kind of us in a big field that's synonymous to American baseball, and us playing beat ball, setting up all our equipment out there, having our beepers go off and the buzzes, and kind of people with blindfolds all over the field, and that kind of thing. I really feel like we could pull that off, and it'd make for a really good all-star game or some sort of game.
All right. Thank you, Richie. Liaa?
For me, I think that, I agree with Richie. It would have to be something that the board would have to probably decide, but I do think it's a great thing because you are showing the best of the best. And just like, any of the all-star games that you see on television or you go to, those are your heavy hitters in your team unit. And I think that even if the NBBA was not to support that, I think at least bringing, personally anything that if any of my team happened to make it, then I would bring that back to local news and make sure that they're at least highlighted here. I don't think that it's an impossibility to say that the NBBA should be somewhat involved from the PR aspect, because I think there's a lot of positivity that can be gained just with the exhibition of, watching the best of the best compete. And I love the idea. And I know that when it first started, the rumblings around here started, D. Smith and Nick and some of the guys that were just talking about, wouldn't it be cool? I mean, it's an awesome idea. And, these are our next generation of players to kind of take over, where some of us are going to lead by, behind the scenes opposed to, leading on the field. And I think we need to take full advantage of exposing those athletes for what they are.
All right.
And there's no other better time to play baseball in Texas but November, man.
That's
probably the only time to play in Texas, let me tell you.
but we're going in a week. But we're going in a week and a half. We're going in 10
Well, yeah,
days.
we'll know for sure.
If I can, real quick, I just want to give PJ Navarro a shout out. When we started this whole thing and wanting to bring in people who are running for spots, we encouraged the membership to put some topics forward, and we got one response, and that was this last one from PJ Navarro. So thank you, PJ.
Thank you, PJ.
But the All-Star, he had the All-Star question.
You see, look at you, Richie. Love your enthusiasm, man. But you're going over time now. Just joking.
You interrupted Liaa's topic. We got to penalize you for that.
All right.
He's okay.
You lost points, Richie. No, just joking. I guess, I mean, we've gotten obviously a chance we've heard you guys kind of tell us what you want to do, or kind of, some idea of what you want to do, why you're running. I don't know if, I guess I just want to open it up to you, right? To tell us again, if there's, if there's something about, why you're running, right? What it is, I guess, in 2 years, I believe the term's over in 2 years or 4 years. It's like, what will you have wanted to have accomplished? What is like your, any, I guess, concluding ideas, or, what's your platform? You can wrap it up, take it in any direction that you want to take it.
I keep going back to when Liaa said I have 45 teammates. I was like, oh no, that's 45 votes, but that's okay. I'm like, oh boy, I got maybe 45 friends in my whole life, but no. They're not going to the Beat Ball World Series. Now, if you want, the next, second vice president and PR director to have demonstrated proven beat ball PR achievement. If you want someone who will represent successful diversity within this league, who has experience in mentoring and recruiting talented beat ball ambassadors, who empathizes, with the volunteer service. If you want someone who empathizes with volunteer service, then also, and probably foremost, someone who's overcome blindness and who's been there and grew up in the gym class, kind of trying to find out something else for me to do, or not being picked to play a kickball game or whatever, but who's overcome that because of this sport. And that's me. That's Bo Flores, Bo Flores, second vice president.
Okay, perfect. Liaa?
Okay, for me, I would say if you're wanting, my platform will probably be, I'm wanting to, like I said, use what I have learned in the many years in corporate environment and kind of put that to the world of beatball. I have, a lot of experience of doing PR in a corporate level, as well as, I do it locally here for the team. I put on, basically started the Extreme, started the Edge, 2 successful teams. We have media coverage at every event that we've done here for both tournaments. Our most recent tournament I put together, which was the one in May, our group of volunteers who brought out our food, they are actually going to be featured on a Food Network docu-series, and part of Beat Baseball will be in there because they're going to talk about coming out and donating the food. So I worked together with that group to try to give them some beatball information so that they can kind of talk about it when it airs. So I think I have already done it kind of at the local level to kind of, plus I actually have a lot of friends that are in media and PR just here locally, and as well I do have some contacts in other cities. But I just think that depending on where we want to go as a league, I mean, if we're looking to kind of expand our wings and branch out into other areas, I hope that I could be someone that could represent the league well as making sure that I want to go on site visits. I want to do conventions. I want to give us some more PR worthy press when we go to some of these sports conventions for picking cities or getting cities to talk to us, etc. Been on one before, and there's a lot of room for improvement there. So I just think that there's some things that I could help kind of move the future of beatball forward, as well as, like I said, I'm doing this for the Nicks and the Kyles and for my son and all his friends, Corey, all the kids that he grew up with, Eric. This is the future of our league, and it to me is very important to make sure that there's a good foundation so that when we're too old to come out, the boys can take over and the girls can take over and run the league like champs.
I like that. But as far as Neil and I, we're too old to come out.
I know, right? I'm getting there myself.
We're already there.
That's what I'm saying. There comes a point in time.
No, I appreciate that.
Seth, do you have any of your surprising little pop quiz questions that you did to our other guests?
No, man, those are pretty cool, though, man.
No Jeopardy question, Seth?
Yeah, no ethics violation question.
Oh, you know.
Well, cool, man. Thank you both of you. One for agreeing to do this. You guys were both very cooperative and setting it all up. I enjoy working with both of you. I've enjoyed having you each on the show the times that you've been here. And as a whole, I said it in part one, I think with the board of director positions and with the second VP positions, the voters have been given some difficult choices to make. So and you guys are among that group. It's good for the league that there's so many good choices. So I guess at the end,
that's always a good thing. Yep.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out. But I wish you both luck. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Should we tell him, Richie, that you weren't actually doing the show from the bathroom with all that echoing going on for our blind audience?
I did say it was the old Walmart in El Cerrito, California.
That was before we were recording, though. So, Richie's in an empty apartment right now, but we're not soliciting donations for him. So. All right. Thank you, everybody, for Seth and I. This is it until after the games get started on Tuesday, July 26th, when the round robin gets going. And I had not, Seth, been that excited about recapping the first day, but our round robins offer opportunity for some upsets to be made. So I'm excited about it now. So we'll catch everybody then. Until then, everybody be safe. Get to the World Series safely and soundly. Have a great tournament. No entries. Not that that's possible. We'll try ahead of time. Keep yourselves hydrated, and we'll catch up with you then. Everybody be well.